this is Warhawk Beyond 2040, and welcome to another edition of the Progressive Rock and Metal album review series. And today I'm going to be taking a look at a brand new 2024 release from one of the true legends of guitar playing and my all-time favourite guitarist from the progressive rock genre, the one and only legendary guitarist, bandleader, and composer Steve Hackett. And this is his newest recording for Inside Out Music, The Circus and the Nightwhale. So, The Circus and the Nightwhale marks the first time since 2021's Surrender of Silence and Under a Mediterranean Sky that Steve Hackett has recorded and released an album featuring new material. And this also marks Steve Hackett's 30th studio recording. That is an amazing achievement and a historic milestone in the career of Steve Hackett. 50 plus years of making music. That is unbelievable. And out of all of the Genesis members, and all due respect to them individually, for me, Steve Hackett is the most prolific out of the Genesis members. He is an album making machine. He puts out a new album virtually every single year, sometimes two in a year, or three if you count a live album, or four. You know, this guy doesn't stop. He is constantly active, always putting out top notch music. And whenever there is a new Steve Hackett album coming out, it's always an event for me. His albums are all different. He's always pushing the envelope, trying out new things. And for The Circus and the Nightwhale, we kind of see Steve Hackett going back to his roots somewhat. For his new studio album, we see Steve Hackett delve into the concept album. So, as you'd expect from a concept album, lots of different changes, tracks going into one another, you know, one constant piece of music non-stop. And for me, this is probably Steve Hackett's best album he's put out in a while. And I'm not saying that his previous albums have been bad. They've all been good, but this album is really special. It's really good, really powerful. There's lots of different influences. There's, of course, progressive rock, there's progressive metal, blues, world music. There's even Chinese influences, you know, classical influences, which is of no surprise because Steve Hackett has put out classical albums in the past. You know, heavy orchestrations, you name it. Jazz, it's all here. Everything you want from a Steve Hackett album is here. And to me, the production on this album is just out of this world. And it's a great sounding album. So let's have a look. So there's the cover, there's the whale, and there's the circus, and there's the maestro himself, Steve Hackett. So all of the compositions are written and composed by Steve Hackett and Roger King, and there's a couple of contributions, co-contributions, shall I say, by his lovely wife Jo Hackett. And this is a true band effort. And what more can you expect from a guy like Steve Hackett? He is a class act and a real gentleman's gentleman. And we've got a little bit of sleeve notes here from Steve Hackett, and there's a nice little picture of Hackett as a kid. Lovely stuff here. So there's some pictures of what's tied to the songs, and there's lyrics as well. And there we are. Some more lyrics here and some more pictures tied to the songs, just like before as well. There's a little shot there of Hackett there. There's some more lyrics here too. There we go. Another cool shot here. And just as well, like some more pictures, and there's also some lyrics as well. And there's another one here, and there's a lovely picture of Steve Hackett with his wife Jo. And there's another picture there as well. So we've got Steve Hackett on electric and acoustic guitars, 12-string guitars, mandolin, harmonica, percussion, bass, and vocals. We've got longtime collaborator and partner Roger King on keyboards, programming, and orchestral arrangements. We've got sister-in-law, the lovely Amanda Lehman, on vocals. And we've also got band members Jonas Reingold on bass, Rob Townsend on saxophone, and we've also got Craig Blundell on drums. We've got his brother John on flute, Benedict Fenner on keyboards, Hugo Degenhardt on drums, and we've got Nad Sylvan on vocals and additional guitar. And we've also got Malik Mansourov on tar, and we've got Nick DiVigilio from Big Big Train on drums as well. So guest appearances are kept more to a minimum, whereas in past Steve Hackett albums there was loads of guest singers, lots of fellow musicians from the progressive rock genre. But here, the guest musicians I've kind of kept to a minimum. So obviously we've got Nick DiVigilio guesting on drums on one track, and John Hackett, his brother, also guesting on one track. So guest appearances are kept to a minimum. This is much more of the Steve Hackett band, so which is good. You know, obviously I like the guest appearances, but at the end of the day, it's about Steve Hackett and the guys, and it's unbelievable. It's a really good album, and interestingly enough, Nad Sylvan's only featured on one track. Now, Nad Sylvan, of course, is a huge part of the Genesis Revisited projects live. He sings most of the Peter Gabriel stuff and some of the Phil Collins stuff. So he's only featured on one album. Steve Hackett, he sings on the entire album. Amanda Lehman is also singing on a few tracks as well. But vocal duties is mostly all Hackett, but all good stuff here. So the tracks we got here on this album, we've got People of the Smoke, which sounds very similar to The Golden Age of Steam from Darktown. And we've got These Passing Clouds, which is another great song, Taking You Down, Found and Lost, Enter the Ring, Get Me Out, Ghost Moon, and Living Love, Circo Inferno, Breakout, All at Sea, Into the Nightwhale, Wherever You Are, and a gorgeous solo acoustic track to close out the album, White Dove. It's a brilliant album. And as I said, you know, these tracks, if you look at it, all 13 tracks, it's kind of like one big piece of music. It's like big suite. Lots of different changes, lots of different styles, great guitar playing as you'd expect from Steve Hackett, great vocals and harmonies from Hackett and Amanda Lehman, and great vocals also from Nad Sylvan. It's all here. It's just an amazing album. And the standout tracks for me are People of the Smoke, These Passing Clouds, Get Me Out, Circo Inferno, Into the Nightwhale, Wherever You Are, and White Dove. But it's a fantastic album. As I said earlier, one of the best Steve Hackett albums that he's put out in a long time. It's really, really good, really powerful, packs a hell of a punch. Great crunchy guitar solos from Steve Hackett, great acoustic playing from Steve Hackett as well. You know, he's so versatile, and this album is just, you know, there's so much going on here. It's really hard to keep up, but it's great. And I love the sax work from Rob Townsend. Really gives it that dirty, old school progressive rock sound that, you know, you'd hear something from like King Crimson. And Roger King, for me, is the difference maker of this album. He provides lots of lush keyboards and soundscapes. You know, he makes everything sound like one big orchestra, and he can do that, you know, with his keyboards. I've seen Roger King with Steve Hackett many, many times. He is the real brains of the music. He just makes everything sound bigger and more deeper and just makes everything breathe. He's an amazing musician, composer, and arranger and orchestrator as well. And it's a fantastic album. Although we're only in February 2024, we're looking at a very strong contender for prog album of 2024. But still early, we still got time. but wow, fantastic album, and every song on here is just top-notch quality, as you'd expect from a legend the caliber of Steve Hackett. So there you have it, Steve Hackett's The Circus and the Nightwhale. Tremendous album, and one of the best albums already for 2024. And the best part about it is we're just getting started, and really looking forward to seeing Steve Hackett again this year when he comes to the UK. Always look forward to seeing him. So there you have it, The Circus and the Nightwhale. Tremendous stuff. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What's your favourite track from The Circus and the Nightwhale? Is it People of the Smoke, These Passing Clouds, Taking You Down, Found and Lost, Enter the Ring, Get Me Out, Ghost Moon and Living Love, Circo Inferno, Breakout, All at Sea, Into the Nightwhale, Wherever You Are, or White Stove? There's no right or wrong answer. We all have our favourite tracks. You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Progressive Rock and Metal album review series. So until then, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.